Hello and welcome to another episode of Comic Book Reviews. If you love comics as much as I do, you're going to subscribe to my channel. I review comics for Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. They're available on Comics Central, Indie Planet, and Comixology. Check them out. Stay tuned to this broadcast for more information. Also, like the Facebook pages for each franchise for more information. Check out my Patreon site for some neat original artwork and shows that you won't find on YouTube. I'm Kevin Given. This week, comic book fans, I'm going to review the Kiss End of the Road Tour. The first time I saw Kiss, it was 1977. You wanted the best and you got it! The hottest band in the land, Kiss! I was on my feet through the entire show, clapping my hands, singing along. Last night was the end of an era. The band that brought me into rock and roll will tour no more. I didn't have the same energy last night that I had when I was in my teens, but I was headbanging along with my Fab Four just the same. One of the things I always loved about Kiss and being in the Kiss Army was the fact that the band always tried to make each fan feel important, probably more than any other band in rock's history. It's not just a verbal acknowledgement either. From Paul flying halfway across the stadium to perform Love Gun on a solo stage in the middle of the stadium, to Tommy and Gene being on platforms that extend out into the crowd, the band truly tries to connect to everyone in the room. They've always tried to involve the whole stadium in the experience. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame hates Kiss, Paul belted out at one point early in the show. But they had to listen to you, referring to the fact that Kiss was voted in by the very fans they love to connect to. It was a touching yet wild moment as we all went crazy with screams as Kiss once again acknowledged the ones that made them famous. The girl I took to the concert had never seen Kiss before, yet she was on her feet screaming and hollering and was hoarse the next morning. During the finale, when the band performed Beth, she surprised me by reaching over to hug me. I wasn't expecting that. From a girl that was only a mild fan at best, the force of the show caused her to melt, and I could swear there was a tear in her eye. Then came their signature song, Rock and Roll All Night, and we were up bouncing off each other, dancing and singing. In my mind, I flashed back to each time that I had been to a Kiss concert. The first time it was September 12th, 1977, the Springfield Civic Center, Springfield, Massachusetts. The boys were in their prime, and I was hooked. I had been a Kiss fan when Kiss fans weren't cool. I remember the day I bought my first Kiss album, and yes, I was on board from the beginning. It was 1974, and I was at York's bookstore in my hometown of Holton, Maine. I was flipping through the album section and had every album from the bands that I liked. I was into music, but I didn't really have a favorite band of all time or anything like that. But then I came to the K section, and I saw the four makeup-clad rockers and thought, whoa, these guys look cool. I didn't grab the album right away. I kept flipping until I got to Z. But I didn't see anything new that I didn't already have, so I went back to K. After staring at the cover and reading the back, I finally purchased the album. Kiss became my favorite band of all time from that day on. The hard-driving rock and roll was something that I needed, and I got every album the band released as soon as it came out. Then I thought back to the Aerosmith Kiss World Domination Tour in 2003. The two bands that got me rocking performing together on stage. Even though Aerosmith came out a year before Kiss, I still hadn't heard of them until after I got the first Kiss album. And I was ecstatic. I was kind of disappointed that Ace wasn't with them, but what the hell, it was still a magnificent show. I thought of the similarities between the two bands. Both came out at about the same time. Both rose to prominence also around the same time in 1975. Kiss with the Alive album and Aerosmith with Toys in the Attic. And both lost band members by the early 80s, with Ace and Frehley and Peter Criss leaving Kiss to be replaced by Vinnie Vincent and Eric Carr, respectively. Then Joe Perry and Brad Whitford would leave Aerosmith to be replaced by Jimmy Crespo and Rick Dufay, respectively. Both bands went through an unfocused period and saw a decline in sales. Both would come roaring back to prominence in the mid-80s. All of this was going through my mind as the lights went up. I was satisfied with the show as the old white dudes gave it their all one more time. But then the thought came to me, I'll never see them in concert again. I'm sad. I know I'll always have YouTube, thank God. I can always relive my favorite memories by going there. But alas, it really is the end of the road. So why am I reviewing a Kiss concert for a comic book website? Simple. Kiss has been involved with comics since 1977, the year I first saw them in concert. And Marvel's Super Special #1 is one of my favorite comics of all time. The band was out with a bang in their final concert, but only a whimper with their latest comic book. Writer Brian Hill gave us a fantastic issue with Kiss Blood and Stardust #1, but by the 5th issue, the story had weakened and became just about Lilith and Alicia. It was a good story, but Kiss's participation was minimal, and I wound up being very disappointed. Where was the Kiss that became superheroes with Marvel Super Special #1? I love Dynamite Comics, and I hope that this isn't their final Kiss comic. I would really like to see them in one last great adventure in the pages of Dynamite Comics. Maybe a crossover with Marvel so they can face Doctor Doom one more time. Maybe they'll continue to do more comics with Kiss, but with the band becoming inactive, I don't know if we can expect many more Kiss comics. And Kiss comics need to go out with the same bang as Kiss tours. Dynamite, if you're listening, please give us a rockin' Kiss comic book to end the series. Now let's review Kiss Blood and Stardust #5. This issue starts out not with a bang, but a whimper. It's not an action-packed opening, but one which sees Lilith guiding Alicia and hoping she will choose the right path. She's helping her protege without doing the work for her. An emotional moment between the two female heroes. I must say that this is a great story about overcoming your inner demons, but I'm disappointed. For some reason, this is called a Kiss comic book, but Kiss is barely in it. Gene is the only member of the band that has anything worth saying or doing. The other members are background props. This has been a problem with a lot of modern Kiss comics. Most of these comics would be great stories without the band in them, and this one is no exception. Like I said, a great story, but the focus isn't on the Kings of the Nighttime World. They are secondary characters in their own books lately. Where is the Kiss that became superheroes in Marvel Super Special #1 way back in 1977? And as I said, this isn't a bad comic at all, but if Kiss wasn't in it, no one would notice because their presence isn't necessary to tell the story. Can someone write a Kiss comic where they're the protagonists, please? Looking at the creative team, Brian Hill has created an awesome universe filled with demons and monsters which infiltrate our everyday lives. It's fun to see the main protagonist face her nightmares, and Derek Crowley is an antagonist to be reckoned with. It's a treat to see this tale come to a conclusion, and it's a good read. Rodney Buscemi brings this hellish world to radiant life, and his demons are truly terrifying. The hatred etched into Derek Crowley's face tells the story of an average Joe gone horribly wrong with demon possession. The fear we see in Alicia also tells a tale of learning to cope with our fears, and when she must rely on herself instead of Lilith, we get the impression that she isn't sure of her capabilities. This all shines forth strongly in the illustrations. In conclusion, I'm having a hard time with this. When I read issue 1, I had high hopes that we'd see a Kiss comic where they would finally kick some ass, and with the End of the Road tour underway, I don't know how many more Kiss comics we'll get. But their involvement in this tale isn't just minimal, it's unnecessary. I don't want to give too much away here, but when you read the whole story, take all Kiss's lines out of it, and you still get the same feel. Nothing they've done is necessary. Also, the resolution, though satisfactory, seems rushed. An epic build-up, but a slightly less than satisfactory payoff. Good stuff, but not great stuff. 2.5 stars, 7.3 rating from this comic book reviewer. If you love comics as much as I do, you're going to subscribe to my channel. I review comics for Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. They're available on Comics Central, Indie Planet, and Comixology. Check them out. Stay tuned to this broadcast for more information. Also, like the Facebook pages for each franchise for more information. Check out my Patreon site for some neat original artwork and shows that you won't find on YouTube. And that was our look at comic book reviews for this week. Until next time, this is Kevin Given saying so long and keep reading those comics.